I'm joined here by Ethan from 100 Thieves right before their game against Gen G at NALCQ. And I want to start off by saying I think your team is the most interesting team coming into this tournament, partly because you've just come off the back of Berlin. And my initial opening question to you here is, how did you guys view that performance? I think a lot of people from the outside, it was incredible, the manner in which you were able to get to the semifinals, taking out Gambit, the eventual winners, insane comebacks, clutches everywhere. At the end of the day, though, I feel like a lot of the stuff, the narrative around 100 Thieves was, this team is built for LAN and we expect success. So from an internal perspective, how satisfied were you with that semifinals performance?
Honestly, I think we were pretty satisfied with it. Obviously, the only part that sucked was not making champs and not beating Envy. But just placement at a big international LAN, I think semis for the first one is pretty good, in my opinion.
Yeah. The performance from the team overall as well seemed like it had leveled up, but specifically early on in the tournament too, it felt like you were the consistent performer throughout. And your career in Valorant has been a steady trajectory upwards, I think. Obviously well known in CS and respected there, so people were expecting big things for you, but it has been a trajectory of you being like, okay, this guy's got a lot of potential, and then every tournament getting better and better and better. Did you feel like you were playing at your peak in Berlin?
I think I was playing all right. I don't really remember thinking I was playing crazy good, so I mean, it was mainly just focused on the team and making sure everyone was doing what they're supposed to and making sure we, in the end, just qualified for champs, which we didn't, unfortunately. So, yeah.
What was when you saw kind of the bracket and the teams that were in front of you, can you run me through some of the emotional ups and downs of the tournament overall? You had some ridiculous times through that game, all of the matches that were happening. The Gambit insane comeback, and then the comeback against Ascend on Breeze as well, and then the game against Envy. What were some of the emotions going on in the team at the time?
Yeah, I mean, all of our games were very close for the most part. A lot of really big comebacks, and I think the only reason those happened is because everyone stayed composed. It just sucked. I think the team, when we played Envy, I think nobody really showed up that day, and it sucks to have a bad day on that specific day, but I mean, what are you going to do? So, I mean, now we're here. Now we're looking forward to playing an LCQ, I guess.
Do you feel like that level of composure, the LAN experience, the huge amounts of experience that your team has, are going to translate here as well against some of these teams that there are a lot of Tier 2 CS players that have made the move over, but your team clearly has the most experience and should have the most composure when it comes to big tournaments like this where everything's on the line?
Yeah, I mean, this is even more pressure than it is in Berlin, honestly. I mean, this is the last chance for us, for sure, but every other team here, if they don't win this, then they got nothing for like 3 months. So, I mean, it's a huge deal for every team here. And like it is, it's the last chance for a lot of teams. So, yeah.
Is there any team that you're looking at as being the people to beat, the team to beat at this tournament for you to be able to go through to champs? Obviously, it was Envy that stopped you last time of being able to get that championship spot, but they're not here because they already qualified. So what kind of teams are you looking at through this roadmap of that upper bracket that you think could give you some trouble?
I don't think we're giving any teams here respect, to be honest. I think every team in Berlin was way better than these people. So, I mean, we're just going into this. We know that we're the best team here, and our job is to just qualify. So we're just focusing on it one game at a time.
I think that would be the community expectations as well, had you kept the same roster. But the fact that you've made a roster change has caused a bit of confusion in people's minds about what to expect from 100 Thieves. What should we expect from 100 Thieves? You're saying that you're not going to give any respect, clearly the best team. Does that mean that internally you feel like this is a better version of 100 Thieves than we would have seen at Berlin?
Yeah, I mean, no one makes a change knowing we're going to be worse, right? The only reason we made the change is because we had a plan and because we think we're going to get better. And so, I mean, yeah, I think that answers your question. I think we're better.
Talk to me a bit then about this change, because the fact that, I mean, it's an enormous move heading into NALCQ. It's your final opportunity in the season to get to champions. A lot of teams, I think, would have played it safe at that point. All right, we're probably already the best team. Let's just make it work towards the end of the season and get in. But this is a significant swap. It feels like there's going to be role shift as well, just based on what boys played in the past. And in theory, that could unlock various other players. We saw Nitro playing Jet when it came to Breeze against Ascend as well, and had his America Man moment, just carrying NA towards the semis. What kind of stuff do you feel like the team will be improved upon by this move?
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that Nick going to IGL isn't anything new. He IGL'd his whole career pretty much in CS. So, I mean, it's nothing new for him and it's nothing new for us. So having Boy on the team kind of fills a couple of gaps that we were missing before with controllers, and kind of lets other people kind of focus on what they're comfortable with, which is definitely helpful, because we had a couple issues just like finding the best comp for us, like as a team, and trying to find an identity with Josh on the team. And I think we're kind of beginning to find that now. So hopefully that goes well. But yeah, we definitely took the risky, not so safe option. But like I said, if we didn't make the change thinking it wasn't going to work. So
I want to start here by talking about Nitro's IGLing as well, because like you said, it's absolutely nothing new for the guy. He's been doing it for a long time when it came to CS. But and as far as I'm aware as well, from early conversations in 100 Thieves when I was talking to like the coach months ago, there was kind of a primary and secondary caller dynamic where Nitro would give his input at various times. Can you talk to me a bit about the stylistic differences between having Steel lead the team and having Nitro lead the team? I don't necessarily mean who's better or worse. I just mean, what is the difference in terms of how they lead people, how loose they are, how structured? What's been some of the major shifts from your point of view having Nitro lead now?
Yeah, I mean, not going to go into crazy specifics, but I mean, Nick's obviously IGL'd at a much higher level for a much longer time, in my opinion. He's been around the block. He's been to really big lands. He's been around really good players and led really good teams. And I think that shows an experience and like in the way as a person he leads the team. Not even talking about like in-game stuff. Because I think the biggest attribute you can have as an IGL is being a good team leader. Right. And I think that's what we have now. So, yeah.
And Boy, who is coming in, has had a relatively large absence from being a pro player. He was working with you guys as an analyst for a while. Can you talk to me a bit about what his role was before he was now your fifth player, essentially? What was his job on the team?
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much, like you said, he was an analyst. He helped our coach prep and analyze other teams. And he also helped us with practice too. So whenever we just needed help with literally anything during practice or like prepping for practice, he would do that. So it's not like we're bringing in a whole new player. It was honestly a super easy fit since he already knows all the plays. He knows everything we do. He's pretty much part of practice every single day anyway. So, I mean, yeah, it was super easy.
And finally, I just want to focus on your role for a moment, because part of that development that I was talking about earlier of Ethan as a Valorant player getting better and better seems to be getting more comfortable with playing super aggressively. You've been playing a lot of Omen on Icebox since forever, actually, but so many more new aggressive plays that we saw in Berlin and in the qualifiers leading up towards that. And the Sky looked massively improved as well. Do you feel, is that a basis of comfortability, or is that a basis of getting the team on board to make those kind of set plays?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of everything. I mean, if you're going to make these crazy aggressive plays and your team's not really knowing what you're doing, it's might work for you, but in the long run, it's not really going to work. So it's good to integrate everything together and make sure everyone's on the same page. And yeah, as for like aggressive plays, I think in this game, it's kind of built towards that in some scenarios. There's just so many different variables. You know, it's like no one can really account for every single thing. So kind of throwing things out, and it throws people off guard in a lot of scenarios. So it's good.
Final question here. You're heading into the game against Gen G. I'm not going to ask you who's going to win. I know what your answer's going to be there. How many rounds are you going to give them?
I mean, we'll probably lose pistol like we usually have, so we'll give them two rounds.
All right, thank you. Good luck in your games as well. Thanks for sitting down with an interview with me.